a charity interview.
People like, oh, it would be so hard to undo all the corruption that exists within the system. No, it's actually relatively easy.
Oh, I need to hear this. How?
It's not America first to set the conditions that will later harm America.
Yeah. Just creating new terrorists for the future.
I think that's right. And look, I mean, anybody who is honest and looks at what's happening in Gaza right now has got to be absolutely sickened by it.
That's where the hollow earth theory starts coming in.
There's another
provide the other
but
end
that
of that.
hollow earth is
the
they're
hollow
saying
flat earth.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
Nation was founded by men of many nations and backgrounds.
Have you ever read about the reasons they attacked us? They attack us because we've been over there.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have a liftoff.
what do you want to do?
I don't know, T. Let's just go fucking start the show.
Hello.
Every time I watch it, it gets longer.
It does, yeah. It's now 2 minutes and 30 seconds of time. It's going to be a full episode in of itself soon. Yeah.
All right, Doom Nation, welcome back. You were listening to the Two Doom Men podcast. Sorry I couldn't be here last week, but as always, it's Skaggs and yours truly, the captain, and we have an OG guest returning. Skaggs, why don't you tell us who we got tonight?
Yeah, we got the OG, our oldest podcast buddy, Zack Brown, the UnfitStatesman, is back in the flesh with a bunch of really creepy old white dudes in black and white behind him.
Skull and Bones,
Family
baby.
photo.
Skull and Bones. It's the grooming gang that sexually molested me last week.
Is it? Are those all the guys that are in the Epstein files? Is that who that was?
They're literally the people that made the Epstein files possible.
All right. There we go. Well, welcome back. It's good to see you.
What's up, buddy?
I'm happy to be back. It's been a long time. So much shit has happened since we last.
I know. Yeah. I know. The captain texted me earlier today. He's like, "What are we going to talk about?" I'm like, "Well, we haven't talked to Zack in over a year, so you could just spin the craziness wheel and talk about literally everything." But I don't know. Just how you doing, bro? What's going on? I know you haven't really. I don't think you've done your show in a while. What's going on in that regard?
No, yeah, I haven't done it in a while. I've pondered doing that show, bringing it back, or doing something different. I still think I will eventually. I just haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. I don't know if it's going to be the same show or if it's going to be something completely different. I'm ping ponging back and forth, but don't worry, it'll be racist either way.
Well, that was going to be my first question.
Yeah, that is in now. I was going to say, like, fucking
Nick Fuentes is leading the charge. You could be his right hand.
It might be honest. The racist train's pretty hot nowadays.
Yeah. No, him and I, we'd fight for words. He does a solo podcast that, like, I did, and so we'd just be talking over each other, vying for fucking retards' attention.
Yes,
fucking that fan base has to be. Listen, he says things that I agree with, and he says some things that are pretty wild, but I'm less interested in that. His fan base has to be wild looking.
Oh yeah,
Creatures of the Black Lagoon.
Something. I mean, they're either very thin and like they wear suits, or they're just gross and they don't leave their house. It's got to be one. I don't think there's a lot of middle ground with his audience.
They're either the guys in the picture behind you, or they're like that.
Yeah.
South Park episode where the guy's eating Hot Pockets while playing World of Warcraft.
Yeah, the
It's
basement dweller.
Or they just look like Stan's dad's balls when he's carrying them around in the wheelbarrow.
In the wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I wonder how many of I know Nick Fuentes does have a really big following, but I wonder how much of that is real. That's like the thing that people are saying, like, oh, you know, the Groypers are not all real, that they're bots. I wonder if that's true or not. I don't think that's true. I don't think that there's this huge base of his following that's all just fake bots. I don't know.
Didn't they crack down on a lot of like the bots on Twitter and stuff like that? Or is it still rampant?
I don't know. Who knows, man? It's better. It's better than it was before, I think.
Right.
But I mean, everywhere that kid goes, he gets a fucking tremendous viewership, even when he goes on other people's shows.
Yeah, well, he just says the hot button issues.
I think, you know, he was on, just for an example, he was on Dave Smith's show a couple weeks ago, and it's like the most viewed episode of Dave Smith's podcast ever. So people were giving him shit. Oh, you platformed Nick Fuentes. He's like, I don't know, man. He kind of platformed me. It's the most views I've ever got. So
yeah. Well, he was on Tucker too. I mean, Tucker was the big one.
Right.
That was the big one.
Right.
But yeah, the fork in the road to the conservative movement is so blatantly obvious at this point, where it's just the momentum is, whether or not you agree with it. That doesn't matter. The momentum is with like the America First movement versus what establishment conservatives are called, like the actual mega movement. I mean, it's like there's been that dichotomy. There's nothing there anymore. That well is dry.
It's just Israel first now.
Yeah, there's no more fucking Palestinians to bomb. I mean, you did it. Hey, congrats. You hit capacity. Okay? You hit capacity. When you hit capacity, you got to know that you got to move to a new venue.
Yeah,
you're right. And
this is probably the new venue.
Yeah, they're out of Venezuela, South America.
Yeah.
So you haven't, I don't know. So you haven't done your show in a while, and a lot of shit has occurred the past week. You're talking about the fork in the road. That's probably the thing that we've spoken about literally the most. After Trump, we felt came out of the gate with a really strong start with this new administration with like the Doge stuff, and he was kind of saying all the right things within the first couple of weeks, and then it ironically all fell off a cliff, or began to fall off a cliff with the Epstein Finder thing, in my opinion. And now, actually, today, they're Congress and Senate are voting to release the Epstein Bill, which is apparently supposed to, release all that.
We are not getting what we want. I'm telling you, we are not getting some comprehensive list of evidence that is going to topple world governments and flatten royal families. Not coming. That's I don't know. What do you guys think? You think tomorrow's D-Day and we're getting it all?
I don't think so. I mean, I did see that.
Well, they had the leaks, right? The 20,000 email or file leak where they like Trump had Epstein over to the White House for Thanksgiving. Is that true? I could be making
the story about. I maybe I haven't paid that much attention to all the little gossip around every little tiny detail this time around, just because I'm kind of tired of the bullshit about it. I felt like part of the goal this whole time with Trump saying it's a hoax, and now the Democrats all of a sudden being interested in it was to poison the well for everyone around the entire concept, because now it's been like, if you're team red versus team blue, now you have your excuse as to why you might not want to entertain the Epstein file anymore, or they're trying to like sell that to you in that sort of way. What I was trying to share before is real quick is that the version, I guess, that just passed through the Senate, it grants Attorney General Pam Bondi the authority to withhold or redact any material that could endanger national security or jeopardize an active federal investigation. So both of those are obviously super fucking broad terms. Why Jeffrey Epstein would, this is the question, right? Why would Jeffrey Epstein, anything in the Epstein list, be endangering national security? I guess is the question, the thing that we've all been fucking talking about for years here. But I mean, we all know the deal. We all know why. This is just another kind of example / proof.
It's just it's symbolism at this point.
Yeah,
right.
It's like, what are you, and this is like the shit with the JFK files. It's like, we already know. We're waiting on you to just kind of come out. It's like when somebody's lying and you're like, just admit it. Like, I'm waiting for you to apologize or admit that you were wrong. So I mean, so it's just symbolic at this point.
Yeah,
It
usually
doesn't
that
matter.
never comes though either. They never.
Yeah, we don't get much of that.
You
do
never
we?
get a moment of like where you're acknowledged that you were right and they were wrong. That never really ever comes for the most part. I mean, think about COVID. Use that as an example, right? I mean, how many of us were fucking right about all that shit? Did anybody ever really come out and be like, "Oh, by the way, you guys were all right and we were all wrong"? No. I mean, they
I
still
tell you
try and
what.
lie about some of that shit.
Trump, you really want to invade Venezuela? Put me in the fucking White House. I'll find a way to flip this Epstein shit into we got to invade Venezuela. I'll say Maduro was in those files. I don't give a shit.
That would have been fucking creative. Yeah.
It's about strategic messaging. Okay, it's about
You get everything you want.
messaging. That's what it's about, Trump. If you really want to go get the natural resources and oil in Venezuela, put Maduro in the Epstein files, release them, and then you're good. You killed two birds with one stone.
It would work. It would work.
People would fall for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
they
know,
would
Cap,
definitely fall for it.
what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Go ahead. Go ahead. What do you guys?
Well,
think?
who was the fuck before Maduro over there?
That's a
Oh,
good
God.
question.
I have no idea.
Is it
I think
Guaido or something?
I don't know. We put him in there, didn't we?
Probably. I mean, Captain and I
Obviously.
many years ago looked up all the instances of U.S.-led intervention and regime change in South America, and the list was like over 1,000 instances long. So I'm sure some
Yeah.
of them. Who was before?
I'm sure the last guy wasn't a plant.
Hugo Chavez. Damn it! How did I not know
Yeah.
that? That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, Hugo Chavez. Yeah,
But
I mean,
yeah,
they've
I-
always had a fucking hard on for Venezuela. You know, going back a while now. Obviously, it's a very rich fucking natural resource area, right south of our country. I feel like it's always kind of been a place that was had the potential to be a competitor to the United States on the grand scale of things, kind of, at least. I remember even like my grandfather, who immigrated from Italy, first went to Venezuela before he tried the United States, because back then that was also like the place to go. You know, things were
Really?
happening. Yeah. Things were happening. There was oil rigs and shit to work on. And then he went back to Italy, and then he was like, all right, let me try again. And let me go to America this time instead. So
Interesting.
then socialism and communism and all that stuff came to Venezuela.
Yeah.
And it's now, it is, a smelly armpit.
But yeah, back to the Epstein. I just don't think we're going to get let down again, because we already could see what's going to be redacted by Bondi and all. Everything's going to be national threat. Maybe we'll get a few extra tidbits of information that'll give us some, some excitement. But until it's completely unredacted on my desk, I don't imagine we're going to be satisfied. That was something I wanted to ask you, Zach. Like, when you started, when you stopped recording, were you just falling off, or was it just too heartbreaking and blackpilling? Because we've been playing Mario Brothers, we've been reviewing liquor, we were doing wrestling for a while, and then the funniest thing in the world, we got out of politics because politics have been ruined. Then we got into wrestling, and wrestling was ruined. So we're really just spreading the doom.
Yeah, I think it was more of just I had moved to a different job, so it was significantly more difficult to do an hour by myself every single week. And so I just was like, there was a point where I felt like I was phoning it in. And so until I figured until I don't phone it in anymore, because there's no point in just, not having any energy when you're fucking doing it. There's no point in doing it.
Yeah, absolutely,
Oh.
man. This is what we were talking about at the time. We were kind of like fucking just disappointed and blackpilled. And we kind of had this epiphany where we're like, well, we just got to at least have fun. The fuck are we doing this for otherwise, right? If we're not going to enjoy it. Now, I do feel like the past couple of weeks, I've kind of been re-energized on that front in the political
It
world,
is
just because
getting-
things have gotten so stupid
Yeah.
and funny that it's getting interesting again. And wrestling has gotten so terrible. Although last night's Raw was pretty fucking awesome. But it's not. We all have to have regular jobs here, folks, right? So yeah, it takes a lot to fucking do this shit. At least commit 1 hour a week every week to do the editing, to fucking think about what to talk about, make it entertaining, have some energy late at night when you do it.
I'll give Ben Shapiro this. He doesn't seem to get tired of talking about the same shit every day. It's
Yeah, well, when they
wild.
pay you thousands of dollars a day to talk about the same
But
shit.
It's a good point, though.
I mean, he comes. I mean, the idea, like, even if you get paid year over year over year, if you're talking, I mean, that's a daily show. That's a daily show where every day he's just fucking chopping his dick off to make the argument for Israel and meritocracy, even if it sacrifices the well-being of the lower middle class of this country. He's still in it. Like, the one thing that I think that probably, and I figured this was one of the reasons why I got tired of doing the podcast, or I just got tired out, was everything is so cyclical. I mean, this is it's like just every, like, I noticed, like, different things would happen with different people and different bills and then the points that I would come up with about it, and then I would hear other people come up with, it's all the same shit. It's so cyclical. It's just, I mean, it's a template.
Right.
American
a lot of people
has become templated, you know.
Mm-hmm. It's true. It's true. A lot of ideas get put into each other's minds too, right? And then you just kind of reiterate maybe what somebody else is saying, or maybe you come up with the idea first, and then it does get kind of templated. I know what you're saying. I feel like everything is also just so fake and gay all the time that you're watching. Like, even this, right? Sure. I enjoy doing this. I enjoy talking shit about whatever's going on. That's got to be why I do it, right? But, like, I knew this was going to be fake and gay, this whole Epstein disclosure thing. And it's like, okay, well, now let's go do a show, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend this is some real thing that it's not, because it's not. And then you just see all these people out there pretending like,
that's
like the Benny fucking Johnsons of the world, pretending this
whole
is
time.
Everything that's like the most perfect thing happening ever, and it's also real, and it's like a perfect fix to all of our problems. And it's just like, you're now just so transparently fake. Like,
it was, for how many years was it, Brooklyn Dad and all them saying, Trump's the worst thing in the world, It was the same thing every day with zero context. And then it just spread to, MAGA splitting up, and all the fake MAGA people going on to Twitter and saying the exact same thing. It's rough. And then we were watching the same movie play out with the same ending over and over again. We're going to release this.
This is a different kind of episode.
Burger.
Right. This is a different kind of episode. Sorry to cut you off, Cap. So we're just going to bounce around to whatever. I'm going to my first tweet of the week, because it's exactly what you're talking about. And it's Laura Loomer, who says, I'm going to say it. The GOP has a Nazi problem. And the more we pretend like we don't, the worse it's going to get. We do. Don't tell me we don't. So there you go. It's a new one. Everyone's a Nazi. Now even Laura Loomer is saying it. Everyone's a Nazi. God, just look at that sort of commentary about shit.
God, she's. You know what's crazy? I never thought that I'd hear. If you would have asked me when I started my like when you and I, when everybody, like we started our podcast about the same time, right?
Yeah. When everyone in the world started one.
COVID, yes. And so literally, if you would have asked us back then, you're like, is the right going to start just wildly accusing people of being Nazis? You'd go, no, that's the left's thing.
Right.
That's definitely the left's thing. And then you'd go, well, who's the carved up freak accusing people of being Nazis? You'd go, oh, it's like one of the BLM leaders or something, one of those lesbians. But now it's Laura Loomer. They're both disgusting. Both have wild faces. There's a trend. It's a trend. It's disgusting women.
I was going to say ugly people.
Yeah, it's just disgusting women, and they start accusing people of being Nazis, and it's wild. I can't. It's there's a guy who I guess I don't know a ton about him, but I've seen his tweets as of late. His name's James Lindsay.
Oh, geez, I muted and blocked him at this point. I've had enough, but. Continue.
He always uses like he calls people the woke right.
Yes, he's kind of the guy who came up with the term. I think
so. Yeah, and he leans heavily on horseshoe theory.
Yes,
to make his points about how you have anti-Israel now on the crazy left and the crazy right, and it's like he's so wildly unaware that I could just go, yeah, but you're calling everybody a Nazi just like the crazy
left
left
were.
was. I mean, it's like he uses the horseshoe theory as if it's like the end all be all to his, like, this is why my argument works. It's like the horseshoe theory applies to fucking everything.
And everything.
And
Hitler
everybody.
liked dogs. I have
Yeah.
a dog. I like dogs. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I must be like Hitler, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. And right. And when regarding him specifically, one of the things I always felt most ironic about him is that he was always kind of the chief, like, guy. He was the most guilty of the thing he was accusing everyone else of doing. Always, it seemed like with him, James Lindsay specifically, to the point where I was just like, "What? This is like a boring follow." Everything this guy says is some sort of odd new form of projection, and I've seen this before from these woke, stupid left wing people. Now this guy is just doing it again. You know, he even has tried to, he's tried to accuse me of being a woke right thing in the past in some Twitter fucking, things. And after that, I'm like, and of not being a real person. And I'm just like, what? Yo, you have literally become the very thing you're complaining about. You do not see that. You're supposed to be Mr. Smarty Pants. You don't see that.
I had said this back in the day that eventually I thought it came in the past, but I guess it's here more now. That it's more here now in the sense that it's on social media. But I always suspected at like some point, like the corrupt, fake right wing, deep state part of the right wing was going to show itself. And here we go. And it's the same playbook. It's Operation Mockingbird for the right, and it's literally play for play, the same exact thing. And we're seeing it play out more on social media here that, that going into it, the right's going to save us. The GOP is going to save us. We still got to clean house first in there as well.
Do you remember when the fork in the road in the Conservative Party was like Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell, and Dan Crenshaw? And now it's just it was just kind of like that ilk, and now it's like, I mean, we're split. I don't know why I'm saying we. I say we every time I say white people, Panthers fans, conservatives. I am a Panthers fan, but I'm not really any of it. But it's crazy how the windows have shifted.
Yeah, it's the same playbook. It's just for the right, and now they're being exposed.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, I know what you're saying, though. The Overton window has definitely shifted, and there's a fork in the road. I do think we were talking about the other night, Cap, in person. We were just getting drunk, and it's hard. We were
streaming.
Yeah, it is hard to judge whatever's happening on Twitter and then compare it to like the real world, if it actually means anything or not. I do think there is a lot of people who just like live online.
I think there's a point to what you said, that people like Fuentes and Tucker are so hot right now that it's because, if we've learned anything, we're the majority. The majority of people feel this. Otherwise, they wouldn't be so hot and get the numbers that they get right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, viewership. Like you could kind
of. I'm pretty sure
viewership numbers.
It might have not been the other night. It might have been when we were in the group chat with Garrett. But like, the people who feel this way are definitely the majority. And as we were saying earlier, it's that real America first group, not, doesn't mean isolationist, but it doesn't mean what's going on in Washington.
Jack, what do you think about that? Like the fork in the road, what do you think about the fork in the road? Is the fork in the road that there's this small group on the right that are pretending that they're the majority? Like what?
No, there's demand there, because listen, if you look at like Nick Fuentes as just him as an individual, he's kind of a fucking loser. He's a virgin. He says it's by choice. He's just scared to approach a girl, which I get it. I'm not going up to no bitches at the gym either, buddy. Okay. But he's a virgin, and he says sex is gay. Like, eating pussy's gay. It's like, I'll blow my nose in her pussy if you.
I'm Freddie Mercury, boys.
I'm fucking.
No, I know what you mean. He doesn't have that manly dude.
There's no
Grizzly
Adams.
Andrew
Tate.
So in theory, you would assume that.
Let's be careful how much we criticize Nick Fuentes here before the Groiper Army fucking murders us.
Here's my point. I'm crescendoing up to a good.
Sure. He's gonna. Sorry.
But the point is, he's not traditionally what you would consider a conservative influencer. He's not this. He's not a jacked guy with 6 kids
Yeah,
and
Pete
can get any
Hessedge or whatever.
Yeah, or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, he's not getting pussy. And so the point is that tells me that the substance of what he's saying, I don't watch it. He's all over my fucking feed, and I see him in clips.
He is now. Yeah.
Yeah, so I only see him in clips. I don't watch his show, but clearly what he is saying is garnering attention and an audience. And so there is a clear and genuine demand for whatever ideas he's espousing to be spoken. Maybe not all of them, but at a good
It's something
portion
at
of
his core that people are feeling.
Yes. And so because here's the thing. Like Andrew Tate, I mean, he does make some good points, but he's also like a jacked dude who smokes cigars and like films
he's the
himself
exact
doing it.
opposite of what you're talking about.
Right. So, and that kind of makes sense in a conservative space because it's a symbolic thing about being.
Yeah, he's toxic and masculine. Yeah.
Right. Nick Fuentes doesn't seem to be that way. So
Nick Fuentes isn't picking up a sword and going into battle any day.
I don't. I just saw a clip of him waving a sword around.
There's a great fucking Instagram page that does like, you know, edits of him fighting Ben Shapiro like all the time. And there's like him doing lightsaber battles with Ben Shapiro. It's hysterical.
I think you sent me one of those.
Yeah.
You guys seen my favorite AI video is Fat JD Vance fist fighting people, and it's kind of like when Peter Griffin fights the giant chicken, and there's one where Fat JD Vance basically fights everybody on a subway train, and it's fucking crazy.
You know what's crazy? The AI videos have not really made it to my algorithm.
Oh man, you haven't seen AI Bigfoot yet? He's the ICE agent and he's the bro.
No, I haven't seen any. I saw the AI videos. I'll get some here and there. I saw like a big black guy throw a white elderly woman through a wall. That was
like the chiropractor video.
Yeah, the chiropractor.
We're gonna fix you up real good. They just German suplex you through the ceiling.
Yeah, I saw that one, but for whatever reason they haven't crept in. They have not crept in.
Do you guys think, going back to Nick Fuentes quick and talking about
anyway, let me just put the
yeah.
So I'm assuming the reason why, because like I said, there's not a ton of superficiality as far as like bravado to him. So I'm assuming like I said, I don't listen to his show, but I would assume that if he's garnering that type of audience and attention, the shit that he's saying means something. That's what I would guess.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, or it's something people are interested in. I was going to say, do you guys think that? I think we're all of similar age here, somewhat. I think Zach, you're probably a little bit younger than us, but I think there might be something as well to the fact that he's just younger than us, much younger, like 10 years younger than us.
Well, how old is he?
He's like in his early 20s, I think, maybe 25 at this point in time.
All right,
Right?
yeah. So I'm 29, so.
Yeah, you're closer to us than he is.
I'm hanging and banging around there.
I'm old.
He is 27. All right, he's 27. But I feel like he grew up. This is something I've heard a lot of people talking about lately. He grew up in a different sort of time than me and you, Cap, grew up. Like
much different time.
Yeah,
we were the last generation without social
coming
media.
of age years were the woke years, right? Where like you could not say shit. Anywhere.
But yeah,
online.
So what would you say? Like 2015 was his.
Those years, right?
Yeah,
15, the Me Too era, the woke, the heyday of the woke shit, leading up into COVID, and then more recently, now things have kind of changed. But like, I'm trying to like put myself in someone that age at that time, growing up and kind of coming of age at that time. We look back and we're like, these kids nowadays are pussies, right? But we didn't grow up at that time or come of age at the time, even though it's only like 10 years. But I see it as like when they grew up during that time where you can't say anything. This guy goes on camera and says the opposite of that. He says the most heinous, craziest.
Can I make a heinous comparison?
But like for that generation now, that is a manly thing to kind of do. Where
That's
you've
true.
all been cucked. You don't go hunting, you don't punch a fucking wall or whatever, but you live online all the time. And then here comes that guy.
Pepper spray bitch who comes to your front door. That's what you fucking do.
You see what I'm saying? Like that is manly to this next generation after ours. Good.
He's Eminem.
Yeah, kind of right.
Eminem.
The right wing version of that, I think it's pretty
Yeah.
proven out at this point that Eminem is a lefty through and
Yeah,
through.
well, that's obvious. But
right, but yeah,
for
that's
our
a good
coming age generation, who was the guy that spoke out and everybody hated, and he said what was on his mind, and it was outlandish and wild? It was him for a while.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Right. Like, I am whatever you say I am.
Yeah.
And then he, had songs about fucking slitting his wife's throat and all this stuff, right? Just the most heinous, insane shit. And it did kind of capture that white rage period, Captain,
Yeah.
we've talked about before in the 90s.
Great rage.
Yeah. And the Congress was getting involved and trying to fucking, was that Chipper Bohr or whoever, I forgot at the time, or fucking trying to like censor his music and stuff like that. It is kind of similar. I never put two and two together. That's a good observation. Yeah. Yeah. Very good.
So what else do we got on the docket? What else? What do you got queued up?
Q.
Yeah, with everything going on, I think I said this to Garrett the other day on Instagram. I was like, man, I wouldn't mind like a new Q drop to come about right now, just so we got something to hold on to.
I was adjacent to some of the QAnon people. I would talk to them, especially early when I was doing my
17,
podcast.
18, yeah.
And I'd love for them to just really get roped back into that, because some of those conversations were pretty interesting.
Dude, some of them are still going on Twitter. Like now you can be a Q person still on Twitter and you're allowed to exist.
Well,
some of them are still going, explaining away every bad thing that Trump does, like with, a 4D, everything always has an explanation, to the point where like, look, I'm forever like, the romantic optimist. So it's always something in the back of my mind. I hope these fucking guys are right. That this has all
it'd
been
be great.
Everything that you hate that this guy is doing, it's actually he's doing it because it's the right thing to do. You just don't see it yet. So I'm forever the optimist. I hope that is true. I highly fucking doubt it.
I would love to eat that crow sandwich.
I'm more willing maybe to entertain like Tom Luongo's. I don't know if you ever followed Tom Luongo. He's been talking about like the Bank of London and all this other stuff that Trump is like doing to try and play this kind of game against him. I don't fucking understand it. I've tried to get him on the show to hear him out a little bit better, but he sells it in a much more. He's a libertarian that is making some sort of QAnon-like argument about what Trump is doing, but not QAnon. I don't know how to explain it exactly.
That's up my alley. That'll intrigue me.
I don't know if I believe it or not. Like I'm not sold, but it's intriguing. Yeah.
Like if you tell me that like Scott Horton is crawling through tunnels in Central Park to save children who are being raped, I'd be like,
that's interesting.
Yeah, I believe that full-heartedly, and I'm going to go ahead and spread that. I'm going to go ahead and spread that, and I'm going to tell everybody that I know.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Thanksgiving's coming up. I'm going to tell
great topic.
Yeah, Thanksgivings are always interesting. This is going to be an interesting Thanksgiving. What would you like? Again, I haven't heard from you in a while. What is like your whole? If you had to give a letter grade to President Trump in his first year in office and the second term, like, what are your thoughts on it in general so far? What do you think the fuck's going on?
What do you like? What do you hate?
The letter grade would probably be a D+. I liked the passion, the energy, the first quarter energy with the deportations. I enjoyed that. Right? That was like that's like a young offense coming out and just really, they score on the first drive, they eat up clock. I mean, god damn it. You're like, this is going to be our year. And then, second quarter, second half comes, you're like, well, we're 3 touchdowns behind, and I don't know if we can overcome this deficit.
And we're playing for the other team. Yeah.
Yeah. But it is still, it's only, it's only week 1. So it's one of those things where if he, like I said, Chris said it well. It's like none of this, the Epstein files, they're going to release it. A lot of shit's going to be redacted. It's not going to matter. So it's like, at this point, I would like for the Epstein files to be released in as transparent model as possible. I don't think that's going to happen. But the fact of the matter is, everybody already knows what happened. So it's not a huge impact on how people think. I would rather him, maybe
Start arresting people.
Reduce funds to Ukraine and Israel. Maybe we start there. Like, I would
go
rather,
back to pre-COVID spending.
Yeah, I'd rather have him. I'd rather have him shift focus and not, because in my mind, all this is going to do is give Trump and the administration an excuse not to answer for spending money we don't have.
Mm.
And now, and again, it's not that I don't care about the Epstein files. I was dick deep in the Epstein thing for years.
So is Epstein.
But at this point, it's like we're going to release the JFK files. It's like,
I think we're trying to say it only really even means something if you have people are willing to like see it through and hold people accountable after that's been released.
We start getting arrested.
I think
if it came out tomorrow and people were in cuffs by tomorrow evening, whoa, okay, well,
I think that's actually, if you guys watch Thomas Massey's speech on the floor today, he's like, you'll know this even means anything when you see like rich and powerful people in handcuffs being like herp walked or whatever. And this is a guy like pushing the disclosure, right? So
Massey's
So he's the one saying that. Yeah, I agree with you. I think my biggest disappointment overall with Trump has been he's kind of proven to me he's just not serious about addressing this deep state that he kind of coined even back in the day, right? Even with the fucking assassination attempts against him and all that stuff.
And it's
still not willing to do it.
I've tried to explain this to my father too. I said, if we don't start talking about making America great again, and not Israel being great, we need to talk about affordability and what we're going to do right here in America. Otherwise, the midterms are gone. That's all the Democrats have to do. All they got to do is lie to the same idiots that people vote, to the same idiots that vote for them time and time again. Say, oh, we're going to make everything more affordable. And then the Republicans are going to sit there and go, well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go make it more affordable in Israel or some nonsense. We're going to pass this bill that's going to be a spending bill, and $5 billion off the top goes to Israel. We're going to lose the midterms. It's going to be out the window.
Well, that's why the mayor of New York City won.
That's why, he, like Skag said,
absolutely,
he won the second he said he's going to stay in New York and fix things. And if we don't,
it's not the only reason why, but it's probably the chief reason why.
If we don't change gears as a party, it's going to be a bloodbath come the midterms.
By the way,
Republicans don't vote in midterms.
By the way, it is crazy because I watched the clip that we were talking about what Mamdani said that he was going to stay here and fix things in New York. It was crazy to me that they go, what's going to be your first trip as the mayor of New York City? I was like, mayor of New York City's taking trips.
Yeah.
He doesn't have anything to do with foreign policy. What the fuck is he taking trips for? Why are they asking
Eric
me?
Adams? I was the mayor of New York, and I mayored for you, everybody here in Israel. What an odd thing to say.
The irony, right? If you don't know what we're talking about, right? Eric Adams, the current mayor, has been in Israel the past couple days over the weekend on a tour, like on a cock-sucking tour. He's just over there sucking cocks. That's all he's doing, right? He kissed the wall, and he literally said, I served Israel as mayor. I posted the clip. And as I was watching, over the weekend, I'm watching this stuff, and I'm like, okay.
You know what's funny?
He's on his way. Hang on. I was like, he's on his way out. He's lining up his next job. That's what he's doing.
Probably going
right?
to become a Republican.
And he announced like yesterday that he's going to be working on like his next step is going to be working on some anti-Semitism project thing. So I'm like, oh look, I was right. That is exactly what he's doing over there. Yeah.
I mean that it's literally he said he would do that like where there was like the Albanian Day Parade and he's like, New York's the Albania of America. And there's like the Puerto Rican Day Parade. He's like, New York's the Puerto Rican. This is Puerto Rico of America. And oddly, if he would have said New York's the Israel of America, I'd been like, yeah, that's fucking more Jews in fucking Brooklyn than there is in Israel.
Kind of right. Yeah.
One thing he gives, he's like, we're the Albania of America. It's like, there probably are more Albanians than New York than anywhere else
at this point. Yeah. What do you guys think about there's a lot of interesting shit that just kind of
had
the past couple of days. As I say, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Trump are now kind of mortal enemies.
All right. Yeah, I like you said, I haven't been following all the details on everything.
Let me piss real quick. I'll be right back.
Go ahead.
Go for it. So what happened here?
So I think that Trump, I think that the past like couple weeks, MTG has been pushing the Epstein disclosure thing, and I've been keeping an eye on her, but she hasn't been like outright critical of Trump. I'd say she's been like throwing shade, I guess you could say. Like, let's put myself in the most diehard MAGA Trump supporter shoes. Like, she's counter signaling Trump to some extent or another. And I think it came to a head here the past couple of days regarding this Epstein disclosure.
And he's not endorsing her anymore now. So.
Yes, and he called her a traitor and this and that and whatever. Now the gloves are off. I mean, while Zach's gone, maybe I could play the clip real quick that what she said today when she was kind of asked about the whole thing.
I was called a traitor by a man that I fought for 6 years for. And I gave him my loyalty for free. I won my first election without his endorsement, beating 8 men in a primary. And I've never owed him anything, but I fought for him for the policies and for America first. And he called me a traitor for standing with these women and refusing to take my name off the discharge petition. Let me tell you what a traitor is. A traitor is an American that serves foreign countries and themselves. A patriot is an American that serves the United States of America and Americans like the women standing behind me. And I want to tell you that this only became possible today because the American people whom we serve as representatives here in Congress demanded that this vote happen, and they put more pressure on every single elected politician in this city than has ever been put on them. And today you are going to see probably a unanimous vote in the House to release the Epstein files, but the real fight will happen after that.
Definition of a traitor. All right.
She looks like she has a massive clit. I mean, you know how bodybuilder women have those massive clits?
Yeah, from all the testosterone.
She does do CrossFit and shit like that.
I was going to say, she's got she's a very masculine face, and I think she's in shape. So I just have to assume that thing is a Hummer.
I don't know how I feel about Marjorie Taylor Greene. Like, I'm so now guarded, over the years of experience of like seeing the next politician come up and like trying to be the firebrand of the rebel leader. And then every single time they end up just morphing into the establishment.
It just ends up being it's a pawn more than anything else.
Right. I'm immediately suspicious, just given Marjorie Taylor Greene's kind of past, that doesn't mean people can't change, people can't shift their opinions or positions on things I have. I'm just very skeptical of that when it comes to like a politician. Now, I do kind of like the idea. This will be really fucking fun. Let's run, Marjorie Taylor Greene against AOC for president 2028. Imagine how much fun that shit's going to be.
The debates will be great.
Country's going to shit, but it'll be a good time leading up to it, right? So I don't know. I mean, at the same day, politicians are all fake and gay, right? So if they're going to go up there and try and represent you, at least because she's maybe got her finger on the pulse and sees this kind of fork in the road moment on the right wing and sees a lot of us are kind of fucking disgruntled with whatever's going on, she's throwing her name in the hat to represent that. The question is she going to actually mean it or not when push comes to shove?
Yeah. To weave in what we've been talking about, she would be a good litmus test for what type of, what side of MAGA that is splintered now has the larger, you know what I mean? Like, does Trump still have the same pull by not endorsing her? Or does anti-endorsing her bring more votes to her now?
Massey killed that one. Massey killed that one. I mean, Trump was like, we're going to primary Massey. It's like, good fucking luck, pussy.
Yeah.
Do it. There's always the question of like the person who gravitates over to your side after you've been there for a while. The question is opportunist or
You saw a sinking ship. Did you just come and jump on ours?
So the weighing of the opportunism versus the authenticity is always a difficult judgment in the moment.
That's pretty good.
I would assume, because she could have just, I mean, you remember like her and Lauren Boebert were like these two, you know, kind of like a duo for a while. And it's like Boebert didn't do any of the shit that Marjorie Taylor Greene did. And there was no reason for her to necessarily veer off the beaten path of conservatism. So, like I said, maybe it's just that she's a forward-thinking woman who sees where the fork in the road is really going, or, you know, maybe she like, my point would be she didn't have to do it.
Right. I agree.
So, but you're right. I mean, at any given point, it could be. I felt the same way about. I mean, Tucker's has been pretty populist and America First for a while now. But it's the same thing. Like when Tucker started talking about like Ukraine and shit on Fox, and you're like, is this just an opportunistic thing for him, or does he actually believe it? I think at this point, I would assume he believes it. But at this point, quite honestly, I don't care. He's having enough conversations to where even if he's not believing everything that he's presenting to his audience, he's allowing the audience to hear it and make up their own minds. And that's probably really all you can ask for.
It's such a true form of journalism. People are almost terrified by it. I'm going to have an opposing view come on and I will let him lay out the cards on the table and you people decide. No.
Yeah.
What a terrible thing.
Like, even if Tucker is a CIA agent, okay, like then this branch of the CIA, I kind of agree with a lot of the shit that they're saying.
It was, and it's funny that you say that, because also, do you remember when they were calling, what's his name? We were just talking about him.
Fuentes? Yeah. They were calling each other feds, which is hysterical.
They were calling each other feds.
Spider-Man meme where they're all pointing at each other.
Dude, I was like, if Fuentes is a fed, I was like, I may have to apply for a job.
show up and be like, I want to do what that guy does.
There's definitely a built-in paranoia on the right wing. I feel like a little bit more than the left
2015.
wing. I think that's a good thing ultimately, but then it also makes it hard for anyone to ever really maybe coalesce around like a true hero or something. Maybe that's for the best.
We could end up overlooking the true hero because we're just like, nah. You know what I mean? Like,
or maybe we'll be able to spot them much better because we are not falling for, the whole spiel again. I look back now, like, let's just use, for example, like a lot of the shit that Trump said on the past campaign trail sounded so fucking based. We're going to close the Department of Education. We're going to end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours. And it's like, he just said all that stuff and he's not done anything.
He took the normal politician
most basic
path.
fucking concept. Yeah. Like, I'm not forgetting that, and I'm now trying to be careful even more than I already was. Scott, I know you were criticizing me the other day. It's like you never like any of the players on the board. I was trying to make the point to you, like, because they'll fucking suck. I'm not obligated to like any of the players on the board, right? I'm just trying to be guarded against this in terms of Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Well, at this point, I
believe it
as like a voter, that it's people in general are not very good at identifying what they need in the moment, especially on a broad scale. People were like, when Ron Paul ran for president, people like thought he was a retard.
Yeah. Right.
In mass, and now we look back and we go, oh yeah, literally everything he said in those debates was correct.
Had he been president, who knows what kind of world we'd be living in, or country at least. Right.
And so the question becomes, it's almost like I'm not smart. Like, this is just me attempting to evaluate. It's like, I'm not smart enough to necessarily assess and identify who is doing the right thing in that particular moment. But it's what's the theory of, like, the theory is like a caveman is on the plains of Africa and he hears a noise behind him and he assumes it's nothing, or he assumes it's something and he turns around and it's nothing. Or you have the caveman on the plains of Africa who hears nothing or hears something and assumes it's nothing and then gets eaten by a lion.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what the name of that theory is, but it's almost like, so what do? Are you going to be optimist who feeds into every one of these politicians who drops a soundbite that aligns with your political ideology, or are you just going to be skeptical of everything?
Right.
You got to be skeptical, but I think social media makes it harder because you use the right term, soundbite, where there's so many sound bites that your position would literally change every hour almost. You know what I mean? So there has to be a level of skepticism, I feel. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go back to the animal Africa example you're using, right? Like a couple of weeks ago, I sat out here and I smoked a joint and I drank in the cabin, and I was about to go back inside at like 12:30, and I noticed there was a whole bunch of deer in the yard right outside, and they didn't know I was here. So I just I'm not going to like disturb them. I'll just sit here and look out the window and watch them and see until they go, and then I'll go back inside. And I was I'm high as fuck, so I'm super like in tune to what it is that they're locked into what they're like their every movement. I'm literally sitting with the bar stool up against the window watching them, and they're literally walking around, and they are so paranoid. They're trying to like eat the acorns and shit that were here, but at every moment they just can't relax. Like they're looking up, they're paranoid. Like they're looking up, their ears go up, they're looking up, right? They just couldn't enjoy themselves to the point where they definitely did not eat as many acorns as they possibly could have because they were so paranoid that something was gonna come and kill them or eat them that they didn't really
the guy looking at
as
them
much
through
nutrition
the window with the loaded crossbow
as they
next
could.
to him.
But in reality, they were actually safe in the moment, right? I wasn't going to do anything, right? But they were just so paranoid they couldn't do it. Now, on the other hand, maybe those deer survive and live, pretty long lives because of how paranoid they are.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same thing it's like, as a constituent of a political system, should you always really be looking for the next revolution, or should you be complacent in the system that you have? Now, obviously,
it depends on if you're part of it or not.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's a massive dichotomy, but the general retard answer is like, well, you got to find a balance. You got to find a balance. It's like, yeah,
revolution and can.
Yeah, it's like you find the balance, pussy, not me. I'm not going to search for the perfect balance of knowing exactly when I should be complacent and when I shouldn't. Shut up.
Should never be complacent.
So the question becomes, it's like, what is the better, or the more net beneficial position to be in general? Is it to be just paranoid and never trust anybody all the time from a political standpoint? I think you're probably more likely to disprove people that way, but is that a better position?
Well, look, what you're kind of talking about is making me think. Basically, the 8 years Obama was in the Oval Office, nobody was skeptical of politicians. So we had the caveman that just assumed it was nothing and kept looking forward and never looked back, and we got eaten by the fucking lion.
Yeah, I think maybe we are, the three of us right now are looking at this as if this is all just. Maybe we're taking kind of for granted that things have changed over that long period of time, right? Like back then, I don't think a lot of people, thought the way they do now. And I'm trying to like zoom out here a bit on the timeline of history and America. Maybe if you get a critical mass of enough people who are talking about or paranoid enough to the way that we are, you actually get some sort of breaking point. We're talking about fork in the road in general. Maybe some sort of breaking point because of it. If you get a critical mass of enough people that are just like, these motherfuckers are all fake. They've all been lying to us for such a large amount of time. Do you then get an event where like those people actually do something about it in some way or another? I'm not saying revolution, anything like that. I don't even know exactly. I'm just saying critical mass. How long can that continue when enough people are that paranoid about everything?
Well, I mean, it's not even just Obama. I mean, if you think about like, you go back to like the 50s and the 60s, like the Dulles era of the CIA.
Yeah.
It's like people were extremely trusting.
Right.
To the point where they didn't even really understand what the CIA was doing. They didn't know Alan Dulles. They didn't know John Foster Dulles.
Yeah.
They didn't know the Sullivan and Cromwell crowd. They didn't have any comprehension of what was going on in that community. And so there's a beauty and an evil to that, because it's like the beauty is, man, to just like walk around and assume your government isn't boldly lying to your face and things are pretty good and the economy's pretty good and it's post-war time. And yeah, there's this thing going on in Vietnam, but it has to be done and you're not a part of it. And there's like that, there's a cohesiveness that it brings to society that brings on a lot of positivity that we don't necessarily see today in American culture. But, you know, then the negative is they're out and about in South America and the Middle East and, you know, Southeast Asia and, you know, Eastern Europe, and they're fucking around.
It's
They're
the Matrix.
fucking
You're
around with
describing the
impunity.
Matrix. It's to an extent. People that, you know, weren't aware of what was going on, right? But a lot of the things that were happening now, again, I'm telling you guys, like, zoom out on the timeline. A lot of the seeds of like things that we're dealing with now were planted back then. And people's lives don't exactly, you know, how long does a human live? What's the average lifespan of a human? 65, 70 years, right? So sometimes this is going to take these large changes in society are going to take more than one person's lifespan. You might have been so lucky that you were born right after the war, you know, the both wars, right? And you lived in that period of like everybody was just kind of in the Matrix after that, and then you died, and you never got to this point that we're at here now.
You lived in total bliss and perfection.
Right. But some, you know, it takes a long time sometimes I think for things.
But
to
also
trying to make sure we check our blind spot here.
Yeah,
maybe we won't live long enough to see it.
This
or something.
snowballed into what we have today. So back then, when they were less expecting, or maybe the snowball was even ginormous back then, and we just really don't know. But I have a suspicion that the snowball was much smaller back in the 60s than the mess we have today. I think it's gotten so big today that we can't hide it anymore. Back then, they were easy. It was very easy to hide it. Things were good, and people carried on. It was the good times that created weak men.
There was also that, you know, the whole hippie, whatever was going on, you know, whatever happened there, that whole thing was going on, right? And that kind of got shut down. Who knows exactly what that was? Maybe they, you know, they found a way to put it all back in the bottle for a time. Who knows?
I swear to Christ, and I'm not attempting to proliferate a preference here, but I think you could probably track the downfall of America fairly accurately with when women started shaving their pussies. Like around then, like it had to have been the 70s, the decoupling.
So you're a Bush guy. You like Bush.
I like a Bush. I like a Bush. I mean, it's, what was it, 79 we decoupled from the gold standard? That had to have been about when women were
decoupled from the Bush standard as well.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you're talking about the gold standard. What about the Bush standard?
Bush was in office, so the Bushes were out.
Not long after that.
Yeah.
See, now that's some QAnon type.
I think, and by the way, Pam
right
Bondi,
there.
Pam Bondi, you really want to impress me? Don't release the Epstein files. Let me see a picture of your fucking pussy. Let's do that. You really want to energize the base? You want to energize the base? Show a picture of your pussy. How about you do that? Because nothing that you're going to release on those Epstein files are going to be any type of impressive. You show me a picture of your box.
You know, that's the logic is there.
This is the unfit statesman I know, love, and missed this whole time. Yeah.
I bet she's, I mean, I've always wondered about this. The sexual proclivities of politicians.
Gotta be just as disgusting as actors and P. Diddy,
if not worse.
I was gonna say there's a point. It's like the law of diminishing returns, where you just get a bunch of you get a bunch of attention, and you're doing this. So there's like a certain level of thrill in their life that the average person doesn't have. So is just regular like missionary sex fun for them, or do they have to notch it up? I would assume they have to like pump it up a notch, because
that's why people get shit on.
That's
why somebody like what was his name, Odell Beckham, when that story came out that he got shit on. Like, you know, I mean, when you could literally just slide into any DMs and get what you want out of it, or even afford to pay the hottest girl to do whatever you want. It's got to get boring after a while. You know, funny enough, go back to wrestling. Jake the Snake Roberts used to be a sex addict. And he was speaking about it, and he's like, I was on the road like 300 days out of 365 days out of the year.
Jesus.
He's like, I was going from town to town. He's like, obviously I didn't look like this back then. And he's like, you know, you start, you know, just meeting girls at a bar, and then you're starting to have sex. And then he's like, and then after a while, like it's 2 girls, then it's 3 girls. And then you get back home to your wife, and she's the last thing you want to look at. Like you're used to, like, for the entire week, you've been sleeping with 3 different girls a night. And now you see your wife. The last thing you're trying to do is have sex at this point. So yeah, like all this attention and all the craziness they get, they have to just keep anteing it up. That's why Diddy had freak offs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like anything. If you have a certain level of thrill in your everyday life that is significantly higher than the average person's, then I would assume your sexual proclivities rise to that occasion as well. Right? It kind of has to.
I would think so. That would almost kind of be like if you had a chart and average of who falls into that sort of, the trap or not. I'd say probably most people would. They're not every single one, right? But like with absolute power comes, what is it? What is the quote, right? So, yeah, I would think so. Definitely.
I know if I became a billionaire overnight and women were throwing themselves at me, it'd be a different story.
Oh, buddy, by the way, I forgot. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you, man.
On the
Thank
engagement.
you.
Oh, yeah.
That's big news. That's great news.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
What'd you guys do? I didn't even see. Would you guys do a big thing here?
What do you mean?
On the podcast?
No. All I did was give Skaggs his knife.
We hang out and enough in real life that we don't have to do any fake and gay shit on the podcast about our friendship. If
somebody
you
asked
watch the show, already.
Yeah.
That we're
somebody
friends.
asked me, they were like, "Oh, are you going to do anything for the proposal on the podcast?" I was like, "Certainly not. No."
For the proposal? No. Like before she knew?
Imagine Chris proposes
like that,
here
like
at Halloween.
I think they meant more like, were we going to do an episode celebrating it or talking about it or something? And I was like, no. And I definitely would never have filmed it for the podcast.
Yeah. Well, here's when I propose, I'm gonna dress up in blackface as OJ. That's what I'll fucking do. and then she'll go, didn't she kill his? Why? I go, no. This is Bill's OJ. I'm breaking records here, bitch. baby, listen.
We're going to the Super Bowl to lose 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
Or was it 4? I don't even remember.
I don't know, but they had those weird jerseys where it was like fucking like 3/4 sleeve jerseys back then.
Yeah,
you remember those?
Oh yeah, the older ones.
Yeah, those old uniforms all look weird.
What a fucking batshit fucking look. They're like, we're gonna make fucking professional football long sleeves. It's like, yeah, do it.
The NFL has always kind of made awkward. I don't know, choices when it comes to like the attire. They've changed it a couple times over the years. Let's wrap this up here in a minute. I did have some tweets of the week that I think we'll bounce off of here at the end of, and I tried to get ones that I thought were somewhat topical. Greg Price tweeted this the other day, and it's like let's try and this is what I'm talking about sometimes with some of these accounts, but I do think he made some good points here. This is kind of like in defense of some of the good things Trump has done. So I felt like highlighting this just to see what everybody thought. He says, just want to remind everyone that the Trump administration more than kept their promise to secure the border, slapped a $100,000 fee on H-1B visas, passed the largest increase to immigration enforcement funding in American history, have already facilitated the removal via deportation and self-deportation of close to 3 million illegals from our country, and put America on pace to have our first year of negative net migration since the 1960s.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I'd agree with this. Probably the best thing Trump has done so far is just by product of him almost existing, kind of stopped the immigration issue. Yeah.
Well, it's crazy when, you don't bust and fly people in from all around the world. It kind of slows down.
Yeah. Maybe he hasn't solved the immigration issue perfectly. Last episode, we were just talking about the ridiculousness around the H-1B visa thing, right? But at least he stopped the whatever the fuck Biden was doing, which was just insanity at the border. Zach, you're more thoughtful usually. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's just context. I mean, it's like, oh yeah, he's stopped it since, he's put fees on H-1Bs. It's like, this all should have been in place already. Probably should have done it the first term, but good.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it's hard to be. It is really hard for me to be like excited. It's like anytime I see something like that I do agree with. It's like, yeah, I know, but like that's what you were supposed to do.
And I will say,
that's what you were supposed to do.
Right. The big thing with Greg Price, he said, "Oh, everybody's this is the good things that he's doing." He's still very, very, very funny.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Yes, I agree. Trump has not lost a step in regards to that. My next one's Insurrection Barbie the other day tweeted, "Trump, Tucker should interview whoever he wants. Let the people decide. I am not controversial. We decided we want MAGA, not America first. Thank you for attention to this matter. So I don't know if you know who this is. This is like, I'm not sure if this is a real person or not. This is
I have
like one of
seen that
those-
account, and
this
I've
account-
always, I am so curious as to if she is attractive or not in real life, or if it's even a
or
girl.
if it's just some giant fat dude.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Right.
some fucking Malaysian dude.
This is like, this account is like, just think of like your most stereotypical, like Ben Shapiro, but with an anon account, right? And here you have one of those accounts saying, we want MAGA, not America first. And
Yeah.
the replies are literally just people just ratioing her into outer space. Like, thank you for saying you don't want America first. That's all of our point this entire time.
This is why we're all black.
Was there anybody that like gets aggressive in the comments?
Oh, I'm sure.
Have you ever seen those?
Yeah.
Like every once in a while, like I never see the actual comments. I see the compilation on like Instagram Reels or like.
That's a new thing though. Yeah.
And then the funny thing is like it's crazy where like a girl will say something that's just batshit about politics, and then one guy will go, "I'll fucking punch you and split your clit open," and you're like, "Oh my god, holy shit!"
I wonder if
dude.
she has an OnlyFans.
That's a
Eat my
funny
ass,
like
yeah.
subset now
bathwater.
of the internet where people now are like aware that some people leave super funny fucking comments, and now there's a whole little like niche of people who find going through comments funny, even more so than the actual post itself. That's really talk about living on the internet. That's
how I got fucking. That's how I got blocked by Roland Martin. You remember Roland Martin?
Vaguely, yeah. Why
He
would you do?
He was a BLM guy, and he tweeted something, and then I responded with just something absurd, like I think I said like I'm in your basement doing heroin, come find me or something, like just something bullshit. And yeah, like immediately he blocked me, he reported me because I said I was in his basement.
Dude. Yeah. It happens. I've been blocked by a shit ton of fucking accounts on Twitter at this point now, like Dave Rubin, Cernovich, like Phil Labonte. Have all these guys over time.
Can you send me the list of the people that you've been blocked by?
Is there even a list? How do you even know that? I don't know.
I
just know.
Well,
I'm sure we can find it.
whoever you know, and then I will. Maybe that's my return to podcasting. My first thing is I'm going to respond to their
Seek revenge,
until I get blocked by them, and then I will be equal with you in blocks.
All right.
You got to vlog it though. You got to vlog the process.
I will.
Yeah. You know what really pisses people off to the point where they'll eventually block you? It's like just point out their hypocrisy. Like,
yeah, no, but I'm
I'm a dick in that regard. Like, I'm always kind of just trying to do shit like that to people, and they'll block you real quick.
You know that I'm not going to do that.
No, you're not. You're a different style on Twitter than me for sure.
I'm going to say that I if Dave Rubin tweets something, I'm going to say, "Let me throw up on that dick." Like just.
Well, he might like that though.
That's
Dave Rubin.
You
can't.
Gay.
He might send you. I was just going to say he might slide into the DMs. All right, I got one more. I shared this with you the other day, Cap. This is from Grok itself, the AI of Twitter. It says translation from Hebrew was disabled because it often amplified inflammatory or policy violating content, like calls for violence to a global audience via inaccurate or literal renditions. X prioritizes free speech for opinions, but limits features that exacerbate harm without suspending originals. No evidence supports targeting any group. It's about platform integrity amid documented spikes in Hebrew hate speech. So this is like a reply to a comment about why you can't now, like, you should be able to just like push a button and translate other languages.
Yeah.
And you can't translate Hebrew anymore.
It is pretty funny because there was that was another thing that showed up on my timeline where it was like a video of going through tweets of like American pro-Israel people who were like, Israel has the right to defend itself. October 7th was a tragedy. Hamas is a terrorist organization. And then you'd go to the tweets that were coming out of Israel, and they were like, every fucking Muslim is going to die, and I'm going to make sure of it. And you're like, oh man, that's a different. That
was my thought around this, because I'm sure you've seen like the videos of like Ben Gvir and Bezel Smotrich that are in Hebrew. Like when sometimes you see these videos of these guys talking in Hebrew, and they're literally saying that sort of stuff. Like, no, we're just going to kill all these people and fuck them. Who gives a shit? But then when they give an interview in English, they tone it down and they definitely speak more politically correct. So I actually stumbled across this because I saw a video the other day of Ben Gvir talking about some of these riots that have been happening in the West Bank lately, like settlers are going in and burning people's houses or whatever. And he's basically like, yeah, good, fucking kill them. And we're going to like,
well, and he's
commented,
more right wing. He's more right wing than fucking Netanyahu.
Than Netanyahu. But like I commented, like, hey, Grok, like I watched this video and I'm like, that can't be true. Like, is that actually what he said or not? I don't fucking speak Hebrew. Right. So I commented, I'm like, Grok, can you confirm what he said here is actually what the person wrote in the tweet? And then I stumbled across the fact that it's been disabled. You can't now translate Hebrew anymore. So I'm like, what are they doing here? Are they trying to what are they doing? Are they trying to kind of lay cover for these guys? Because people have figured out they say really heinous shit when they're speaking in their own language, and we don't speak it, so we don't know. We can't translate it authentically ourselves.
They're wild boys over there. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
And according to John Mearsheimer, who he's a foreign policy expert. A lot of people believe he's like kind of like the dissenting opinion at any given point, but he and I have none of the names that he dropped, but like it basically, and this was news to me, I thought the Likud was like just like Netanyahu was the wall of the right wing. I thought he was like no, he is not. He's over there.
Somehow somewhat of a moderate, if that makes any sense to anybody.
That shit. Like I thought it was like Netanyahu and like Yitzhak Rabin type people. And then it would fluctuate between. It is not like that. No. I mean, some of the not to spar off onto another topic. We're gonna wrap it up here in a second, but some of the like the attacks that happened the past week in the West Bank have been so bad that like the IDF are like actually trying to do something about it now. It seems really.
So it's like it's seen again. What that even means, remains to be seen. But like I think even Huckabee said something again. Now what you
where
say
the
all you
fuck
want.
Is Sarah? Where is his daughter, Sarah Huckabee? Come back to me, please. There's something oddly attractive I find about you. Please come back. Come back to me.
Yeah.
I like you now that you're thin. I even like
the person
you
that
Trump. She was Trump's first fucking.
Oh, she became the governor of Alabama. Or whatever,
I was gonna say, did you guys see Trump called a lady on the Air Force One a piggy the other day? I was gonna say, was it her? Was it her? That she
unbelievably funny. I mean, just can't stop him. Won't stop him. He's not going to stop. I mean, he'll fucking say some crazy shit when he's dying. I guarantee you.
Yeah, his last words.
He calls his nurse a fat bitch or something when he's dying. I'll put money on that. Can you bet? What's that app where you can bet on anything?
Oh, Kalesh or whatever.
Kalshi.
Yeah, we're just talking about this.
I'll make a bet and say, does Trump call his nurse a fat bitch right before he dies? I'm saying yeah.
Yeah.
I'll put $25 on that. That's
I'll put
a plus
few
900
shekels on there. Yeah.
And we fucked up. We should have bet on GTA being fucking delayed. We knew
we should have bet on Mandani winning.
That too. Yeah, I know. Here we are, fucking paupers.
Yeah.
Just complaining.
Meanwhile, I've been betting on NBA and the NFL losing all my parlays every week.
And that's really, I mean, as we wrap this up, that is really the theme of the show and the message of the show and the moral of the story is feed your gambling addiction.
Correct.
You think your kid needs to go to college? College is a fucking scam. What's he going to do? Go get a fucking liberal arts degree and major in goddamn journalism? Good fucking luck. The market's saturated. I would know. I got a journalism degree. It did me fuck all. Gamble your child's college fund away. Okay?
Let's go.
You're doing them a favor.
Oh, your child needs diapers.
Wrap it up.
Do they?
Yeah.
Do they?
Oh, there's no jackpots. Okay, goodbye. All right, Doom Nation. As we all descend into madness, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We will be back next week with something new. Did we release the good fucking bourbon?
No, I've been so busy I haven't got to.
Okay,
by the way, the audio is still fucked up, even though we fixed it.
Even we got the mics working?
Yeah, it's
God damn it.
The
all right,
wonders
Doom
of
Nation.
Technology. Zach, before we go, shout out your show. I know you haven't done it in a while, but is there anything you want to plug? Your Twitter, maybe? I know you still are on there a little bit.
If anybody wants to block Zach, you could find him and block him.
That's right.
You can find me and block me at UnfitStatesman. And the show, there's still a few episodes up. I think I took a bunch of them down and then I put like 30 of them up. There's 30 of them up if you want to listen to them. They will be coming down probably fairly soon, but that's a good thing because the moment you see those episodes come down, that means new ones are coming out.
Okay.
Very good. All right. That was the Unfit Statesman, Doom Nation. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We got a review with fucked up sound coming out. And we will be back next week. So on that note, everybody say adios.